Welcome to Previously on X-Men, the podcast that looks at X-Men comics, movies, shows, characters, and more. I'm Hilary, and I've got
Me, Eric?
Eric with you every time.
Well, I didn't know if maybe you had something else. Like maybe you had like a surprise for me.
Eric with me. Oh, now I feel like I should have had a surprise.
It's fine. You could. We're far away, so even if you had like a cupcake, I couldn't have it.
Like you posting cookies every 5 seconds that we can't have.
I've left you 2 whole batches of cookies.
That's true. They're gone now.
Oh, good.
Those were good. Anyway, we're not here to talk about cookies. We're here to talk about the X-Men animated series.
Yay!
I blanked on what it was.
Yes, the X-Men, Hillary.
The X-Men. This is an X-Men podcast.
Mm-hmm.
For things about the X-Men.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about the Dark Phoenix Saga from the X-Men animated series, parts 1 through 4, originally aired back to back, pretty much all of November, because parts 1 and part 2 aired back to back for real.
Oh, like straight through.
Mm-hmm. It was a 2-part special, and then part 3 was a week away, and then part 4 was a week away. So November.
Is this the one that was like prime time?
Maybe. I mean, the pilot was.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah. I don't know. But anyway, parts 1 and 2 were both November 12th, 1994. Part 3 was November 19th, 1994. And part 4 was November 26th, 1994. Thanksgiving week.
Yeah. I mean, you
Even
gotta
like, I don't want to talk to my family. I just want to watch the X-Men.
Who needs the parade? Nothing. X-Men.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 4 whole episodes.
Yeah, and you know what? Surprisingly, these aren't the last 2 episodes of season 3.
Oh, that is weird.
There's still 2 episodes after this, especially and if you go on Disney Plus where they have now corrected stuff. The Orphan's End and Love in Vain are the 2 episodes after that. This feels like a season ender, especially because season 3 starts with the Phoenix Saga.
Oh, yeah, that would be a nice little bookend situation.
I guess it doesn't, right? Because it has those 2
that's true
episodes
the
with
random
the
ones.
Reavers and the so okay, I guess it makes
so
sense.
It's random episodes,
big
epic saga,
yeah,
random episodes, epic saga, random episodes.
When we watch the 2 episodes after this, we can decide if there's a thematic tie to these 4, like there was a thematic tie.
Oh,
at the
yes.
beginning.
Yes, that would be ideal.
The Dark Phoenix Saga, Hillary.
Have you been awaiting this moment?
Oh, what? Just talking about the Dark Phoenix Saga?
Rewatching it and doing the whole...
Yeah, because we haven't talked about the Dark Phoenix Saga once. Yeah, I guess. I like the Dark Phoenix Saga. Sometimes I feel like I come across as not liking the Phoenix Saga, but I do.
I mean, like, I definitely come across at least as not liking it. Watching the Phoenix Saga and now this Dark Phoenix Saga this time around has sort of it's eased my childhood disdain for it, which was only there because they kept showing it instead of other episodes.
My issue usually when I'm talking about the Phoenix Saga is that I don't like the X-Men space stories, which is true, which is why I tend to prefer the Dark Phoenix Saga over the Phoenix Saga in general. But
yeah, this is barely a space story.
Yeah, but I do like the initial Phoenix stuff when it's still on Earth, and then when it goes to the Shi'ar and the Omicron Crystal, I'm like, all right, whatever. But my big issue is usually in media, the Dark Phoenix Saga is the only thing they focus on, that she gets the power and she instantly becomes Dark Phoenix.
Yeah.
So I prefer she becomes the Phoenix and then it's the slow burn stuff, which the show kind of pulls off because it got to do the Phoenix Saga, which the movies did not care to do at all.
Yeah, that's true.
Though the show still misses out on doing stuff like the Proteus storyline in between and having like the slow build of Mastermind showing up between that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, she just disappears.
Yeah, and then she comes back.
comes back and it's Phoenix again.
Right. So the show still doesn't really get to land like what is the slow burn of Jean becoming the Phoenix and then becoming Dark Phoenix that the comics do. Yeah. But it gets enough done, I think.
I think it does. Yeah, it doesn't feel too crazy rushed. Yeah. Actually, something I think they did a really good job of was the fitting in not previously on, but like reminding people what had happened.
Yeah.
Like Emma has a whole thing where she's talking about it, and like there's just little things here and there that kind of, I think, do a pretty good job of reminding you what the heck is happening.
Yeah. Hilary, also, as we talk about this, happy 60th anniversary, X-Men.
Oh, hooray!
This is their 60th year, having been created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. So
you can't see it, but there are streamers behind me, and the marching band is coming. But they call.
I got into X-Men with the first movie, so that was around their 40th anniversary. So
20 years ago.
20 years. It's just
once again. 20 years ago.
I just remember watching stuff about the first movie and people talking like, yeah, we had 40 years of history to try to cram in. And now it's 60 years. And I'm like, wow.
Now it's 60 years.
That's a lot. And it's a lot messier than it was when I first got into it. But anyways.
Oh, that's the truth. That's why nowadays you just keep doing like beginning stories because you don't have to like cram everything that has ever happened.
Yeah. Hilary, let's talk about the Dark Phoenix Saga Part 1.
Part 1, and you know what it's called?
It's
Dazzled.
Dazzled. Boy, we could talk about that. This episode was written by Jan Strnad.
Good job, you did it.
Yep, Strnad.
Yeah. Swedish, maybe? Something like that?
I thought she was born in Wichita, Kansas.
Well, okay.
I don't know.
Of Swedish descent, then
sure.
I will say.
Yeah. Everybody knows that Swedish immigrants came over and settled in Wichita, Kansas.
It's a Czech surname.
Well, there we go.
Now you know.
So anyway, Dazzled.
Dazzled.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Because it just opens with Jean the Phoenix on Earth.
Yeah, because like the last thing we heard at the end of the previous episode was Xavier being like, Jean is back or something, right?
So yeah, it's confusing because we saw in No Mutant is an Island that they're like, hey, guess what? Jean's alive.
Right.
But then Savage Land's Strange Hearts has Wolverine say, studying Jean like a lab rat.
That's right. Yeah, so she's been there for a bit.
But we never saw these episodes flash back to that, but it is kind of just like, wait, what?
Yeah, we never saw anything until this episode of actually seeing her. But yeah, she's in what is she? She's like floating in some big room with like wires connected to her.
She's on Muir Island when Phoenix manifests herself again and causes problems. Moira says, I've done all I can with the psychoneurotherapy.
Yep. It's the psychoneurotherapy is helping, but it's not enough.
And in this, Jean and Phoenix are two separate entities.
Yeah, it's almost like a multiple personality kind of situation where they go back and forth.
Yeah.
With who's like talking.
Yeah, and they communicate. Xavier and Moira McTaggart are like, why are you still in Jean? Your work is done, Phoenix. Leave her. And
then Phoenix does that super creepy laugh. Oh my gosh. She sounds so crazy and evil. But yeah, then Jean kind of takes hold again and is like, help me, Scott.
Yep.
Out into the ether.
Yes, because cut to Gambit and Psyche hanging out together.
They're just having a bro night.
Yeah.
Just the two of them.
I guess sure, I like that kind of stuff, but it just seems like Gambit would say, do you want to hang out, Cyclops? And Cyclops would say, I'm busy, actually.
Do you know what I imagine happened?
What?
I bet that Gambit was hanging around in the kitchen being useless, and Storm was like, listen, you know who needs a night out is Scott.
Uh-huh.
So he got talked into it, and he was like, fine.
Yeah.
And he went and
and Remy said something like, you want me to show him good time, yeah? But not too good.
That's pretty good. That's dead on right there.
So, yeah, they're just hanging out at this club, and who's on the stage but Dazzler?
It's Dazzler. And I remember the first time I watched this when I was a kid, I was just like, who's that? Whatever. Who cares?
Yeah.
But this time I was like, hey, it's Dazzler. That's fun.
Yeah. Too bad she kind of sucks in this show.
She does kind of suck.
Last time we saw Dazzler in the animated form was when we watched Pride of the X-Men. And
oh, wow.
I had enjoyed seeing her in that because it was kind of the Claremont era where she had been part of the team. So it was like her cool blue costume with the cool jacket over, and she was getting to do cool Dazzler stuff. That was fun.
Love those jackets.
This one, she's just very annoying.
I like her voice, though. I like that it's kind of like low. But yeah, she's singing and dancing and flashing and all kinds of stuff. But
she's what?
Scott then flashing her powers.
Oh, okay.
Not.
We didn't say what kind of club it was.
That's true. It could have gone either way.
Yeah.
This is an audio medium,
And
so I need to
don't
be
forget,
clear.
Gambit probably chose the place, so who knows?
Yes. He dragged Scott to a strip bar.
But yeah, they're there, and Cyclops is trying to enjoy himself. Maybe, I don't know. You never know if he's trying to enjoy himself or not.
I can't remember what they were even talking about.
Nothing. They were just watching the show because Dazzler was up there singing, and then he gets the Jean message being like, "Help me!" He's like, "I gotta go." But Gambit's just like, "No, stay here. Jean can take care of herself and stuff." And I'm like, "Is Gambit a bad friend?"
Just forget it.
Forget about your
Whatever.
girlfriend. Doesn't he even say something like there are plenty of fish in the sea? I don't know.
Oh, probably.
If he didn't, he probably did anyway. But Cyclops sees Dazzler being attacked and captured by Donald Pierce. Last time we talked about Donald Pierce was in the movie Wolverine, where he was played by an actor who was also in the movie Vengeance.
It all goes around.
You watched the movie Vengeance recently.
I did,
Yeah.
and that movie is a movie that I have seen
that
has people. Which one is Vengeance?
Oh my God.
Oh, it's the one with what's his name? BJ Novak.
Yeah, sometimes it's Hilary.
Listen.
The brother who recruits BJ Novak in that was the actor who played Donald Pierce in Logan.
Oh, that's why I recognized him.
Yeah.
I recognized him in that movie, and I couldn't figure out why.
He was a bad guy in Wolverine, but he was nice in Vengeance.
Who?
Donald Pierce is voiced by Walker Boone in this, who is in lots of stuff. Oh my gosh, is this true? He played Mario in The Adventures of Super Mario Bros. 3 and Super Mario World, the animated series.
What? Wow.
That was the voice actor of Donald Pierce was Super Mario so I watched a lot of Super Mario Brothers cartoons as a kid.
I watched exactly none.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well,
not even a little. It's the kind of thing that, like, I know the opening music and stuff because it would be on after something I watched.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
The Super Mario Brother Hour or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, Donald Pierce is here. He's a cyborg, and he's got robot arms, and boy, do they take advantage of the fact that his arm is robotic in these 4 episodes.
Is it just the one arm?
No, I think his other limbs are too.
Because they only ever show the one arm.
One of his legs gets damaged, doesn't it?
Oh, maybe. Well, Rogue makes a joke about
Later, yeah.
costing an arm and a leg.
The Hellfire goons are there, and they're cool. I kind of always think those masks look like Shy Guy from Super Mario Brothers.
Oh, yeah, they definitely do.
So we got them, and Cyclops takes care of them, and then Dazzler's like, thanks for helping me. You should come back tomorrow in case they come back.
So it sounds to me like you don't like her voice.
I don't love her voice.
I like it because it's so different. Like all the other women are like, I don't know. I like that it's kind of like raw.
I can't find a voice actress for it. According to the Marvel Animated Universe wiki, it says it's uncredited, but it's rumored to be Catherine Disher, the voice of Jean Grey.
Oh,
so
interesting. I didn't hear that at all.
Yeah, but I mean, maybe they did that so that it could be like, see, he's got a crush on this Jean-like thing. I don't know. Or maybe it's just an uncredited voice actor. Yeah, but he has
crushes on, like, very Jean-like things.
Yeah, it's only like redheads.
Incredibly. Yeah. You missed an important thing.
Okay.
Because he rescues Dazzler, but then, what's-his-face, Pierce, almost takes him down, and Dazzler then saves him.
Yeah, sorry, I did miss that point.
So we got some turnabout.
Yeah.
Also, Pierce, is he always lame? Because there's something about him in these episodes that I'm just like, what? Who is this dud?
He becomes a real nasty character in the comics later, especially during their Australian times, because he's the leader of the Reavers.
That makes sense.
So he becomes kind of like a real, I won't say A-lister, but he becomes one of their primary villains when the X-Men are off in Australia and everything. Cause
okay. Well, that's funny to picture with his little yellow jacket.
Yeah, he still does kind of that look, even though he's leading the Reavers.
Oh, great. Perfect.
We cut to Wolverine, who's looking for salami in a fridge and talking about how he can't find it, but he can smell it.
Just being some A+ Wolverine.
Yeah, he's like, where is it? I can smell
I
it.
like this scene. I like this scene because Scott comes in and then it's just the two of them in the kitchen, which I don't think we've ever seen before. And it has a very, like, it feels like it's going to be just them, like, really breaking it down and, like, I'm just sort of having a hard time with this whole Jean situation.
Yeah,
but then
he walks in, he's like, make me one as well. Like, that's a thing you do. You see somebody else make it. It's like, if this was an adult show, he'd be like, pour me a drink. Instead, he's like, also make me a salami sandwich, Wolverine.
I too would like.
It's been one of those nights. I need one salami sandwich.
I know what you mean, man.
I probably ate at the club, but... And Wolverine, don't use your claws to cut salami. That's gross.
It's unsanitary.
Ugh. You kill people with those
out
claws.
Of your skin. Gross.
Question, Hilary. Why isn't Scott on the island? Why isn't Scott at Muir Island also with Jean?
I don't know. I mean, like, maybe they just dumped it. But, like, they talk a lot about the psychic rapport. It seems like that would be part of the research process.
You might want him there for that.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's just weird that he's not there, I guess.
Maybe he just kept crying. And they were like, can you just please?
Scott, we're trying to do research. This isn't helping. But this Scott is less cry about this stuff. He is very, like, over dramatic about his feelings towards Jean, but he's less breakdown in tears, less like...
Yeah, that's true. I just keep picturing what's his name? Who's the guy in X1 who's Cyclops? What's his name? James Marsden. I keep picturing James Marsden with his crying face.
Yeah.
I can't. It just infects all aspects of the Cyclops character.
Oh. Well, cut to the Hellfire Club, except this is a cartoon, so we have to call it the Circle Club.
The Circle Club.
Yeah, that name is just yucky.
Yeah, I was thinking because like they started calling it the Inner Circle, and I was like, okay, I mean, like maybe it's the Inner Circle of the Hellfire Club. That's an okay way to get around it, but no, it's the Circle Club.
They're the inner circle of the Circle Club.
Of the Circle Club.
It's multiple circles at this club.
Though it's a concentric circle club.
Anyway, hey, Sebastian Shaw's there.
Yeah.
Leland is there. And boy, did I have a great moment. I mean, X-Men fans won't care, but like, I was sitting there, and it's been a long time since I've read anything that has Leland in it, and I'm just looking at him. I'm just like, why do I not remember this character's name? And then it just like hit me. I'm like, Leland! And I was super happy that I could remember his name. You know?
Yeah, you got one up on me because I couldn't figure it out until they said it like 3 episodes in.
Sometimes I forget my siblings' birthdays, but I remember that the big guy with the mass increasing powers in the Hellfire Club's name is Leland.
Leland. Now you know, and now we all know.
Yep. Sebastian Shaw is voiced by David Bryant, who really didn't do much else. It looks like he was on an episode of Law and Order.
Wasn't everyone on an episode of Law and Order?
Yeah. You know what? He did some voices on Wildcats, the Covert Action Team's cartoon series.
So, yep, I remember commercials for that.
That's another 90s, very 90s superhero thing. So,
Highlander. He was on Highlander.
The animated series, yes, for 2 episodes.
Which was a thing that exists.
So there you got David Bryant and Leland, who also has speaking things in this. Harry Leland is Jeffrey Kahnert. Tales from the Crypt Keeper for 2 episodes.
Oh, I couldn't watch that.
Oh, yeah. Too scared or not allowed?
Not allowed.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. Well, it cut because it was scary.
Right. And that's it, really. He was in a few other stuff, but nothing much else. So yeah, it's just him and Leland. Sebastian Shaw and Leland are talking about their plans, and in walks Mastermind, and Jason Weingard walks in with Emma Frost. So Jason Weingard, or Mastermind, if you will, is voiced by Nigel Bennett, and I liked his voice.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. Especially, you could see some of the work being done when he like switches to the to the illusion, and he just talks different.
He's very fancy pants. Yeah, I thought he had a pretty cool voice. He's in lots of stuff, but gosh, if I can find anything that I have watched.
Have you seen Mutant X?
Is he in Mutant X?
He is. He's John Warren.
Do you know who that is?
Nope.
I have not watched Mutant X, but boy, he is in a lot of things.
Like live action or voice?
Live action and voice. He's still going. He was on Nova. Did you ever watch Nova in 2009?
I did not watch Nova.
He was in The Return of Xander Cage. So,
I don't know what that is.
That was the second.
I'm looking at a picture of him, and he's familiar. I think I've seen him. Yeah, he's one of those guys who's just in stuff.
Oh, you know what? He was in Jupiter's Legacy, which bombed amazingly. Anywho,
better to bomb amazingly than
and
to
Hilary
never have bombed at all.
Emma Frost is voiced by Tracy Moore.
Oh, yeah.
So Tracy Moore did a lot of Care Bears work. She was Cher Bear in the movies.
That's not where I know her from.
No, let's talk about where you might know her from.
I know her from Sailor Moon.
She is the voice of Sailor Moon.
Yeah. I did not hear that in this portrayal at all.
And she plays Princess Toadstool in the Super Mario Brothers cartoons.
There's one for both of us.
Yeah. So there you go. She does so much voice acting. She was Strawberry Shortcake semi-recently, Redwall the movie. She was also in the Highlander animated series. Yeah, Emma's cool, I guess.
She's pretty good in this.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like, I don't know. I've seen a lot of portrayals that are just sort of like playing up the sexy side, I guess, which is like, to me, the least interesting part of Emma. And this one just sort of like leaned into her like skill. Like she was doing stuff with computers and crap.
Less sexy side, Hilary, she gets to have bare legs in her outfit, but Jean does not. So
no, well, it's because she's bad.
Yeah. All right. So, oh boy, I wrote Sykes' priorities. Am I right? I don't know. Oh, because he leaves. He does leave to go. So Jean ends up leaving Muir Island on her own and comes back. And Scott's like, "Oh, geez, Louise, what are you doing here?" And he's hanging out while Jean rests in bed. And then he's like, "I have to go help
Dazzler.
I have to go help Dazzler. I told
That's right.
He's a mutant, and other guys might come and attack her, so I said I would go." And I'm just I don't know, Cyclops, send Gambit. He already likes that club.
Send any of the huge club of people.
Yeah. You've got Gambit and Wolverine and Rogue and Storm, and instead he's like, "Storm, can you watch Jean, the love of my life, almost my wife, who I thought was dead in a star and has come back, who I wasn't on the same island with her. I have to go make sure this singer is okay."
He's a man of his word. He said he'd be there.
Yep, and Phoenix.
He's gonna be.
Phoenix gets jealous.
She ain't having none of it.
Yeah. So she goes, and I guess the Hellfire Club wanted Dazzler. I don't know why.
Yeah, because that's what. Yeah, they were just trying to steal her from the beginning, not to like do something with her, but so she could join.
So anyway, Matt, we see Mastermind, and boy, he is just a sleazy character.
Yeah, he is.
It's just so sleazy.
He will do whatever it takes.
Hey, sometimes Jean has like a little birthmark on her chin. Has it always been there?
I think that's only in the illusion, because I think she's got like a beauty mark.
Oh, that's why I only noticed it in this and then never again.
Yes.
Okay.
That is why. I think it's like part of her old style character.
So Jean sees Dazzler and is all upset and has the Dark Phoenix costume, which is the first time we see the Dark Phoenix costume, which I am a fan of because it's red. I always like the red ones when there's an option.
Oh, right, because she left. She just ditched Storm completely.
Yep, she just flew right out of the mansion. It's funny. She's like, "Can I get some water?" And Storm is like, "Sure." When Storm comes back, she says, "Jean, I hope you..." And I'm like, what was she going to say? I hope this water's okay?
It's straight from the tap. I hope you don't mind.
Yeah, I hope you don't mind. The reason why I'm not a fan of this Dazzler is because she's like, "Oh, is that the inevitable girlfriend?" And then when Jean kisses Mastermind in front of Scott, Dazzler's like, looks like ex-girlfriend. I'm like,
Yeah,
what are
she's
you doing,
heartless.
Dazzler? Get out
She
of
is
here.
heartless.
And so she leaves. And then Hilary, this is one of those things where it's like, I wish we could slow down on an animated series like this, because then we are literally just at the Hellfire Club.
Yeah, there's a lot of bouncing around.
There's no Cyclops getting the other X-Men. There's no where did she go. There's no looking for the Hellfire Club. They just go, and they're just outside the Hellfire Club. There's no infiltrating the Hellfire Club. There's no scoping it out. There's no explaining what it is. They are just outside, and then they are inside the Hellfire
See,
Club.
I like this part because they do kind of like gather up front and they talk about that they're going to break in. But they send Rogue up to like scope it out. And then she sees them. Yeah, well, she sees them. She sees Jean and Wingard like literally getting married right that second. And then she like bursts in and is like, what the frick?
Yep, and then Storm comes in and I'm like, Rogue and Storm are not your send in quietly X-Men. Because Rogue is like, I'ma punch you. And then Storm is just like, wind!
Wind!
Kendra was watching these with me and it was pretty funny because she was like, Wind, save Jean! And Kendra was like, which one's Jean?
Like, look at the red hair!
Yeah, the Wind doesn't know what you're talking about.
That's funny. But yeah, so they just burst in and then they just basically just start
it's just a fight between them and all the X-Men. Emma is shooting stuff, I guess, because in this she can shoot energy beams, whatever. This is just a bad day for Pierce because Cyclops had already shot him in the arm, and then Storm just shoots him in the arm and then just flies away. Like she just flies, sees a guy, shoots him in the arm, and goes. And it's just Pierce being like, "Come on!"
This is something I like too about this episode. Well, basically all of these episodes is how they like flow through the different X-Men fighting with the different people. Because like Gambit's fighting Pierce. And then like gets knocked over or something. And then Storm just sort of like swoops in and I don't know, there's just a lot of that kind of like flow in these fight scenes.
The X-Men get beat though, and I never fully understand how the Hellfire Club can beat the X-Men, especially with the animated series cast, because originally you had Storm, Nightcrawler, Wolverine, and Colossus, but here you have Rogue, you know? I don't understand that, I guess. But anyway, they do.
Yeah, it's weird.
Leland, whose power is that he can increase the mass of people and things, he increases the mass of Wolverine, and Wolverine just goes right through the floor. And I thought that was a cool bit of animation too, where you see him just like drop through all the floors into the sewer.
Yeah, it's like a horizontal shot of just like boom, boom, boom.
Yep. Those are my Richard Scarry shots, I always feel like, where you can see like all the multiple floors and everybody doing their own thing.
See, now I want to like rewind it and pause and see what is happening on all those different floors.
Yeah, it's just that worm going about his day and one of the cats doing their homework.
Driving his little red car.
Yep. And the episode ends with, because Storm gets beat and she's like, what? No! Because it was Jean.
It was Jean, because Storm like beat the crap out of the entire club before Jean showed up. That was pretty cool.
And Jean's the one who took him down, and she's like, "It cannot be, Wind. Tell me it can't be.
It's okay, Storm.
So comfort my sadness."
But like Jean is totally under Wingard's spell because like by the end, and it's Phoenix, right? It's Phoenix who's like calling him her husband.
Yeah, it's Phoenix because. I don't know. We could just talk about it. I don't remember where they start talking about it. But basically, Phoenix is having a ball with sensations is the thing we keep talking about. She's experiencing new sensations through Jean, all these new emotions through Jean. And she's kind of a hedonist, like addicted to this all now.
Yeah, because she's just been an entity. She's never had this. And now she's just like flooded.
Yep. So they have to kind of, keep it PG for the sensations, but adults can kind of get what they're talking about.
Okay, thanks for taking us there, Eric.
So yeah,
but then it's a big to be continued.
Yep, and we cut to the X-Men captured. Jean is now in that the Black Queen, because Emma's the White Queen, and now Jean's the Black Queen, and she's got that outfit. They give her those like purpley blue stockings.
Yeah, I always feel like those are supposed to be like sheer black. Like that's what it's supposed to
But you have to like highlight black with blue in animated stuff.
Yeah. Are we in part 2 yet?
Yeah, we're on part 2. Part 2 was written by Stephen. All these episodes are written by different people. I never understand that.
They
but
always
here we
do
are.
that. It's wild.
Stephen Levi writes part 2. It opens to them talking about Jean, and then right before the commercial break, Wolverine pops out of the water with his claws, and it's that John Byrne shot from the X-Men comics.
I thought this was really cool. I didn't really think about it. It's a good setup because like he's defeated halfway through the previous fight.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just stop thinking about him. And now you have like all of the X-Men in their collars and you're like, what's going to happen?
Mm-hmm.
And then they show him and you're like, oh, right!
Yeah.
Because he was thrown away. I thought that was a cool reveal.
I mean, that's pure Claremont and Byrne. That's one of my favorite moments in the comics when Wolverine pops out of the water and he's just like, all right, you gave it your best shot. Now it's my turn. That's how they end that issue. This is how they open the episode.
That's a cool thing.
Yeah, it's cool. And then we have Wolverine slowly in this show isn't really happening, but Wolverine by himself is going from the sewers up to there, and he runs into some Hellfire goons, and he does his whole "Do you feel lucky?" punk.
Yeah, he does a whole thing, and I think he kind of sells it.
I don't remember. I had the animated shows like desktop theme, which had all these audios for things, and I think it might be when you emptied the trash icon that you had this whole speech, because I had this thing memorized, that whole like, can I get Wolverine before he turns me into shish kebab with those claws of his? Except these claws are made of adamantium, the strongest metal known.
It's a pretty good little monologue.
Can cut through vanadium steel like a hot knife through butter, and then he says, so do you feel lucky, punk? And then the guy's like, ah!
Like all of that with him going through the mansion-y thing, because he's like sneaking, but also he's sort of just like sauntering into rooms and
he's kind of bad at sneaking in this.
Yeah.
What's this episode called? You've got the thing right there.
The Inner Circle. It's just the Inner Circle. Yeah.
Inner Circle. Okay. We cut back upstairs and they're talking. My issue, I feel like, with this is even when they're just talking, the music is doing the very like exciting, dramatic music over it. And I guess I feel like the limitations of the cartoon sometimes show up in those moments. Where like
that makes sense.
It's just the Hellfire Club just talking about their plans. It's not exciting, but the music's like Well,
it would almost work better because like what they're doing is like you're now seeing the cracks in the group, so it's like they're just bickering and like that kind of thing. It would almost work better to just kind of like really bring down any drama and just like let that play out and be like, oh, well, this is a whole different thing.
Wolverine, as he's going through, he's eating some guy's like, where is my wine? Whatever. I can't remember what it is.
Yeah, it's some fancy
cabaret calamari or something. I don't remember.
It's probably not calamari.
But Wolverine knocks him out and then picks up the drink. It's like a 1950s year of wine, and Wolverine picks it up as like lousy year. And I'm like, he would know. He was there.
Lamb.
Yeah.
And then he eats like a turkey leg off of something.
Yep, and then he's just like, turkey.
This is what I mean. He's just like casual about it, He's just like, I can handle whatever happens here. I'm just gonna go on through. Oh, and he has a funny line because he comes in and like there's some guards that are all dressed up, like Hellfire Clubby. He just like peeks through the door and is like, where do these guys do their shopping?
Yep. I like too that he's like upstairs. He's like fights 2 or 3, and then more show up, and he's like, "Ah!" And then they like tackle him down the stairs, and he's just like, "Ah!" So it's just nice
with Wolverine.
Yeah. Cut to Mastermind challenging Cyclops in the mindscape of that Mastermind's creating. I don't know if I've ever said this, but I do appreciate that this show never shies away from astral plane or mindscape stuff. Like, we talked about that very early on when Xavier was in Sabretooth's mind. And it was just very true. I like that this show is just like, no, that's great. We're a cartoon. Let's really go into the mind stuff.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
The movies never did that in any real interesting way. But here we are in this like cool mindscape, and Jason Weingart, or should we say On guard.
My word.
Because he's sword fights. He's Jason on
Because
guard.
of the sword fighting. Yeah, because I guess he's decided. He's like, because they have this psychic rapport. He must have just decided, I have to actually deal with this guy. I can't just trick her out of it.
Yeah, and so it's a sword fight and everything, but he's not playing fair because the landscape is helping. He's like, stop with your illusions. He's like, do you think this is me? And it turns out that Jean/Phoenix is helping Weingard with the fight.
Yeah.
Which is too bad for Cyclops. Because then we see... It's interesting they do it because it's a cartoon, but it's still off screen because we see Mastermind thrust his sword, but you hear a sound, and then it
stabs him.
He cuts to Cyclops, who like falls backwards.
Yeah, you don't get to see that exact moment.
But then they're like, "Aha, he's defeated. Let's do this marriage." But then you hear Cyclops
in the real world.
Yeah, and then Cyclops in the real world is like, ugh, and they're like, what? And they realize that Jean is still helping Scott, even though Phoenix is trying to help Mastermind. It's all over the place.
What is happening?
Wolverine busts through the door with some Hellfire goons and says, here's Johnny.
He's all over the place.
But he still gets knocked down, and they vote out Shaw?
Did that happen now?
I guess, or at some point. I wrote club politics, huh?
Yeah, you're right, because Wingard, I guess maybe they don't vote yet.
Wingard is like, I want to be the new Black King, and they all vote no, one by one, and Leland's like, you've made fun of me too many times. And Emma Frost is like, you wanted your new queen, well here, you have it, and votes no.
Yeah, I thought that they would make more of a thing earlier on with Emma with that, because they keep like putting Jean as like the new queen and the new like power player and all this stuff, and you don't really see very much at all of Emma being like jealous or annoyed or anything with that. But yeah, now she's like, forget you.
Yeah, but then Jean helps the X-Men back, and I like that Cyclops gets the first hit in this fight. He gets the first shot in because he just gets up and blasts them. And I'm like, yes! All right. I like that. Sebastian Shaw is sexist, if you were worried.
Oh, I could never have anticipated.
If you couldn't anticipate, he is sexist because at one point he's like, I don't need a woman's help defeating you or something, and then he gets beat
something
anyway.
He's the worst. I like this, though, because Phoenix, when she lets them go, it's because she's just like, you guys, I'm bored with this.
Yes,
just like entertain yourselves, and then she just leaves. So she doesn't just leave; she sicks them on each other because she takes the collars off the X-Men.
Yep, and she flies out of there. As the X-Men have to fight the Hellfire Club. So Shaw's power is that he can absorb any kinetic energy and use it back as strength. And so they try to freeze him a few times, and that kind of works.
The freezing seems to be the only thing that works.
Beast is at one point just spinning him around in a circle with his legs, which is fun because you can't focus the energy and everything.
Well, I thought that was cool because I liked that moment with Beast using his brain to figure out what's a good way to do this. But then he hadn't really thought it through because it's not a force issue. It's that kinetic energy, which he is doing and charging up Shaw with his spinning. And so then Shaw is like, haha.
Pierce gets his arm pulled off finally in this. And that's where Rogue is like, that must have cost him an arm and a leg.
That was terrible. And I love that she's completely alone. Because you sort of imagine her looking around and being like, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're all escaping. Wolverine lunges at Leland, and Leland increases his weight, which then is bad news when he lands on Leland and sends him through the floor. You don't want to do that.
No.
Emma just leaves. You see the police showing up, and Emma's just like, get out of my way, as she leaves. Shaw and Pierce escape through some hidden passageways, and they're like, they'll pay for this. But I don't think we ever see these characters again.
Oh, Maybe they'll pay for it in the reboot.
Oh yeah, in X-Men 97.
Maybe it's the long game.
Yeah, that was it. It's been years and we finally got
We're back.
I had to remember that there's no Jubilee in any of these episodes.
Yeah, she's gone. I wonder what she's doing.
They also wrote her out of the Phoenix Saga stuff.
Weird.
So I guess they just don't want Jubilee in space. Maybe it's a memo the studio put down, like, we can't have kids in space.
Under no circumstances.
They'll try to replicate it from watching it, and then we got a bunch of angry parents complaining their kids are in space, trying to stop the Emkron crystal.
It's bound to happen, so I think it's a wise choice that they made.
Mastermind goes to the roof because he's like, I can still control her. And he does try to control Jean, and she's not having it.
She turns around and she's like,
Yeah. Hey, the ball of hair that she's doing is too big.
It's
just too big. I don't know if there's
She's got like a bunch of squirrels tucked in there.
It's insane. But anyway, she's like, you want to control me? I'm the cosmos or whatnot. And then she lets Mastermind see like how big the Phoenix Force is, and his little brain can't handle it.
Yeah, freaks him out.
He goes comatose. I do feel like that could have been a cool animated moment, but they didn't really. They just kind of like show the Firebird and then it's back out into the real world. And I thought it could have been like a cool, like, this is the cosmos, but nah.
Yeah. It's like they definitely are hinting at something, but they don't go anywhere super interesting with it.
Cyclops shows up, and then she does her cool speech in her Dark Phoenix costume about being fire made flesh, power incarnate. I love it.
I am the Dark Phoenix.
Yep.
Okay, so here, this is the to be continued.
So let's cut it here for now, and we'll pick up with 3 and 4 in about a week.
Yeah.
Thank you to Prophetic Music for our theme song. Previously on X-Men is brought to you by the Radio Meanwhile Network. Other shows on the network include 90s Music Got Me Like, This Endorian Life, and 9021 Here We Go. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Previously on X. Please rate, subscribe, or share this show wherever you get your podcasts.